Just testing. Yes, please, Dr. Sahib.
Huzur, we know of an incident in the life of the Holy Prophet ﷺ when he was talking to an old lady and told her that we won't find any old people in the heaven. And thinking it that he has remarked about her, she started crying. And the Holy Prophet ﷺ consoled her and told her that everybody will be young in the heaven. Huzur, do you recall any other incidents in the life of Holy Prophet which would reflect on his humorous nature, sir?
Hadhrat sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, it according to traditions, sometimes used to play with children and cut some jokes and name them by way of fondling, give them a kunya, as was the custom of the Arabs. So one little boy was called the father of the little sparrow by Hadhrat. He was so proud of that kunya. So that was done in a life merriment mood. So Hadhrat's holy wives, Ummahatul Mu'mineen, they also speak of such incidents where Hadhrat spoke lightly on some subject and people smiled and laughed. So there are certain incidents, I think an essay, I read some essay on this either in Al-Furqan or somewhere, but I can write to, or you can write to Rabba and to collect all these. Either I think it was in Furqan or in Tashizul Azhan, maybe Tashizul Azhan. And his retorts are also recorded. Yes, please. Also is known to have laughed on certain jokes which were cut in his presence, or some interesting incidents which automatically happened. So he of course had a sense of humor. That is quite normal and natural. It had to be there. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum. I wanted to ask a question about the name of God. As I know that God did not reveal His Zati names, Allah, to any other religion except Islam. All were the Sifati names in other religions, but not the Zati name, Zati Ism.
How do you know this? How do you know this?
I have read in the Tafsir Kabir, the Hadhrat Mirza Tahir have emphasized.
You must have misunderstood that to some extent at least, because in the same Tafsir Kabir you would read the mention about Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, which was revealed to Hazrat Solomon as well as to many others. So if the name Allah was not revealed before, how could Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim contain the name Allah, and yet it was revealed to Hazrat Solomon? وَإِنَّهُ بِسْمِ اللَّهِ الرَّحْمَنِ الرَّحِيمِ. That letter which he wrote to Malka Saba carried the first verse Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and the Holy Quran records this fact. So that is a final verdict.
Huzur, I have read that chapter, but the Allah name was not used. God, other names were used, which were all Sifati names.
No, the Holy Quran says Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
Yes, from the Islam it started.
No, it doesn't say that. It says Hazrat Sulaiman, when he wrote a letter to Malka Saba, and she read it, the first verse that was written in that letter was Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
I'll go back and read it again.
Yes, yes, please.
But at the same time, the Hadhrat Muslim Maud have emphasized and draw a conclusion that it was only the Islam which has really given the Zati names, and he has written a few pages on that one.
And read that again and then.
Yes, all right. Or Huzur, could I ask you the second question about the witr?
Yes, please.
How to say witr, because the different Hanafis and Malikis say in a different way. And I do not know actually what
are the differences which are confusing you?
No, as I have been taught from the very beginning, and I still say in the same way, that I read 3 witrs, not 2 or not 1, 3 together, but on the 3rd rakat, after saying the Surah Fatiha and the other whatever I am reading, and then the Dua Qanud after saying Allahu Akbar, and then again. So I say takbir during the rakat. Is that the right way?
Well, I can't say, whether it is wrong way, because I am very cautious on making such declarations. We know Rafa Yadain, Masla Rafa Yadain is accepted by hundreds of thousands of Muslims, and they claim also that this has been handed down to them through generations as practice of Hadhrat Sallallahu. So I can't categorically declare to be wrong. I don't know, maybe occasionally he might have done that. But I know positively that if Hadhrat Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had done it as a regular practice, then Allah would have revealed it to Hadhrat Masih Maud Wasallam, who was to revive his Sunnah, who came for this very purpose. He couldn't have missed it. So because the practice handed down to us by Hadhrat Masih Maud Wasallam does not contain Rafa Yadain, as you have mentioned.
In the 3rd rakat?
No, in any rakat, anywhere. So I believe that this could not have been a regular practice of Hadhrat Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. But because there is a possibility that he might have done occasionally, so I am not in a position to declare it wrong, because I am nowhere, to do such a thing.
Hanafi does, especially this in witr.
As far as the witrs are concerned, I am coming back to the witr. The witr are concerned, witr is read against juft, which is mean even or odd. Witr means odd number.
Yes.
So according to the most reliable traditions, Hadhrat Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to say his nawafil, his optional prayers of Tahajjud first, and set them in 2s. And sometimes he said 8 rakat and sometimes 10 rakat, and according to some traditions, sometimes he said more than 8 rakat, about 10 rakats as well. But at the end, now here between 8 and 10, there is also a debate. Some people think that 8 belong to the Nawafil, that is optional prayer, and the 2 rakats which he said belong to the first part of the witr. So some people think that some other traditionalists might have got confused and considered those 10 entirely as nawafil, and while Hadhrat Sallallahu had said only 8 as nawafil and 2 as part of witr. But whatever the position be, one thing is certain, that Hadhrat Sallallahu said Assalamu alaikum after 2 rakats, and then